they were great entries. I am absolutely happy with what was turned in. So I know we're going to have good names for the coffee club membership levels, and those are by the people of the coffee club, for the people of the coffee club, right? Awesome. So here's a funky story, and again, 80-year-old man arrested after 46 years of allegedly killing his partner. And so I just wanted to read this because this is a little bit crazy. This is another one from Tennessee. Oh, I keep forgetting I'm on this. I've got to share it like that. And so they said that the police department's oldest cold case reached a breakthrough this week following the arrest of an 80-year-old man who investigators allegedly killed his partner nearly 50 years ago. In a statement, the Maryville Police Department announced a grand jury indictment, Mike Fine, on Tuesday, November 7th, and 2 counts of first-degree murder for allegedly fatally shooting his parents. Helen Fine and Maynard Fine in 1977. Michael Fine currently lives in Alabama and was taken into custody in Jefferson County, where he is waiting extradition back to Tennessee. On May 20th, 1977, Helen Fine and Maynard Fine were found deceased in their home in Maryville from apparent gunshot wounds. So investigation into their death went cold, but reopened in 2021. And I truly believe that it's because where is that? I gotta look at that U.S. Department of Investigative Genealogy. Remember we printed all that off and read it? I'm looking at the date of that because it seems like this started exploding back in 2021. So they must have redefined their rules probably in 2020 or 2019, 2020, and then they went active in maybe 2021. And they started pushing all this. And it takes about 2 years to process some of this stuff. You know, it's intense. You've got to go in here. You've got to convert the DNA over to what can be read by these genealogy databases. Then you got to put them in there. Then they got to build a family tree. Then you got to, try to pick out, who could have possibly done it. It's a process. So when these cases go over to the genetic genealogy testing, it's not an immediate, an immediate result because there's a process that goes along with it, and that process can be definitely, long. I mean, think about it. Many of you guys probably have had an opportunity to work on your own family tree. You probably did the Ancestry DNA or, Heritage DNA or, 23andMe yourself. So you probably have a little, maybe not an expert experience related to the genetic genealogy, but you probably have some light family tree experience, at least some of us do, which is very interesting, I really truly believe that we're going to hear a lot more of these old cases, and thank God, because DNA, when it started coming around in our current criminal cases, it was a game changer, but I don't think anybody ever thought that in 20 or so years we'd have a huge database that everybody, would be, wanting to know what their heritage is, and giving permission for law enforcement to use their DNA. Nobody had anticipated that way back when. But now that they have this huge database with millions upon millions of people all around the world, it is making it a little easier to connect the dots, especially now that we have the technology and DNA. Many of these crimes that happened way back when, there is no DNA. There would never have been a DNA, unless it was of new age. They'd have to commit a felony. Any felony that you're arrested for, I don't even think you have to be convicted of it. They can just arrest you for a felony and dismiss it. They can literally arrest you for a felony, take your DNA, and then dismiss your felony case, and they're allowed to keep your DNA. From what I'm understanding and how it's reading, that's the way I'm reading it here in Florida, which I think is a little crazy because I think there needs to be due process. You just can't say, hey, I'm arresting a person for a felony to get their DNA, and then when it goes to court, we realize we didn't have probable cause to even make the arrest, but we got their DNA for future. It just seems a little shady to me, but, it is our government. They're going to have to work it out, and it's going to take somebody taking this argument to the Supreme Court for them to make changes with it. Now, that's my understanding. There could be already something in place that if something like that happens, then they can, they destroy it or something. I don't know. I'd like clarification on that because you guys know I'm a liberty person. And while I love to help law enforcement, I don't want people giving up their rights that they're entitled to help law enforcement unless they are willing to give up their rights. You have rights and you don't have to give them up, period. And of course, with all the cameras coming about, our privacy, our personal privacy and how we act in private, whether it's in public or not, is all being recorded now. Our government has cameras on just about every single traffic camera. It's only to watch for traffic, right? But it seems funny because it's supposed to be, if there's an accident, they can identify it and get law enforcement or first responders out there. They're traffic cameras, right? But these traffic cameras aren't just traffic cameras. They're used to track us, they're used to watch us, and they're used in court proceedings, showing exactly where we go and where we turn and how we get there. So there's a lot of privacy that we've been giving up for safety. And people say, well, yeah, it's for our safety. I'm a little different, I think that there's a way that we can keep our privacy and maintain safety, and have a happy balance of both. So, but you are on public property and you can be recorded on it. So there's that as well. So I don't think the cameras are going away. I think this genetic genealogy testing I think this is just beginning. I think there's a lot, we need to be looking at some of these old cases. Mike's in the house. What up, Mike? Nice to see you, love. Nice to see you. So anyways, it's been really, I don't know. absolutely crazy. And then we're going to get on to some Bryan Kohberger stuff.
Political channel and probably do a hell of a lot better than being on here. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Your opinion of Donald Trump is your opinion, and you're allowed to vote how you choose. But I'm entitled to my opinion, but I work for it, right? So you probably are sitting home and angry and listening to all this stuff that you're being told is true. Probably never even looked under the hood to see if it actually is true. And that's okay. But I find it awfully funny that it's only liberal judges. I don't know, right? Or callous. So, and I'm telling you, I come in this morning, like I was going to talk about, but the only reason why I didn't talk about Derek Rosa or Mike and, excuse me, not Mike, David and Eric's case is the only people that are making money in this country are the ultra wealthy, which is absolutely the polar opposite of what they say they stand behind. I just find that awfully funny and awfully hypocritical. That's just my personal stance on it. But, to each their own, and you're allowed to feel however you want to feel. This is not a political show. This is a true crime. Not the best word to use, required. They do it because the person's not convicted yet, and they feel that having the person in the courtroom with a jumpsuit on almost implies that they're guilty. And that's what they have a problem with, and why they don't typically, or why they typically dress them out. But as you notice, literally as soon as they have, and whenever you've cooled down, if you can't handle the conversation, get the fuck out of my chat. It's simple as that. Actually, we'll take you on out. Don't come here and have me respect you, and then you not show me the same courtesy. We don't play that over here. You take that over to those childish channels. We're not doing it. She's blocked. It doesn't matter. She can stay blocked. Now you know why now you understand. It's not us, it's them. They just can't handle it. They have no control. They're freaking deranged. So, also, we have the black box in the car. The only thing that they don't have is the clothes he was wearing and the weapon. The clothes that he was wearing and the weapon. They have his DNA linked directly to the crime scene. We never even heard the results of his home. They searched his home. Or his apartment. They searched his office at Washington State. We've never gotten any of the results back. All we've learned, we don't even know how many times each and every one of the kids were stabbed. We have no clue. We don't have the number. So there's a lot of critical information related to this case that we, the public, have not been afforded the right to hear or know. This whole entire case has been locked down, so much so. I don't get it. I've never seen everything in a case be under seal. I mean, this is overboard to me. I've just never seen it. Not to this level. I mean, yeah, there's certain things that are used, judges use discretion, like, the public doesn't need to see the things that need to be like, because there's a lot of information about Bryan, about the case, about the kids, that's not going to be brought into the trial. They're going to be excluded for privilege, them being too prejudicial, irrelevant. There's just a lot of different types of objections that they're going to limit those, the information, so that only the direct information linking Bryan Kohberger to the murder of this, and to prove that he was the one that carried out this horrible act, this gruesome, brutal act. I'm going pro se. She's with an attorney, right? So when things don't go her way, it's going to have even a bigger impact because she had an attorney, right? It's going to have a bigger impact. Like, you had an attorney representing you, because right is right and wrong is wrong. That's how I truly believe. I don't need an attorney when I'm right. I only need an attorney when I'm wrong. So, it is what it is. Just saying. It is what it is. A lawsuit, but that's okay. I mean, at some point, this lawsuit is going to be at an end. and things will start progressing back to the way that they were, and we will start getting back out on the road more and more. We're coming around to the holidays. I'm going to be on the road a lot from the rest of this year and into next year, with a few exceptions. You know, I've got to maintain my legal research and getting my deadlines done. So that just it takes a lot of time. I'm pro se. That means and prepare, right? I got to prepare this stuff, despite what they keep saying about how I have no education, I know nothing, and I'm getting help by everybody else. Okay, well, I hope you have proof for that, because that's a violation. Especially when an attorney says it without any hard evidence. And remember, your attorney's supposed to fact find, FYI. Actually, he could be sanctioned for failing to fact find. Or like if I send him some information and he acts like he didn't get it. Sanctionable. And right is right and wrong is wrong. And I'm sorry, but you don't need to have an attorney to represent yourself when you're on the right side of things. So, you know, it is what it is. But it's going to be more impactful, right? Think about the impact it'll have. I'm representing myself, and she's got a high-powered attorney, right? That she's raised $20,000, $30,000, $25,000. It's either $30,000 or something $1,000 she's raised, maybe potentially. I know it's over 10, and I think it's about 25,000 if my calculations are right. I've never. I don't understand why she would need $25,000 for this lawsuit. It doesn't cost that much. I can guarantee that. But, you know, she has underlying issues that she needs to take care of. I'm sure she's probably paying some bills with that money, you know, taking care of maybe getting a new vehicle. I don't know what she's doing. It's just my opinion. I'm just telling you, I don't think it's costing her attorney $25,000 to represent her. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I will get to the bottom of it. I can promise you that. So we will definitely have all the receipts related to that in the near future. Everything she's collected and everything she's spent on, because I'm entitled to that. So we'll see. We'll get to the bottom of it. We'll get to the bottom. How is the trial? I'm sunburned. But I gotta say, you know what? I'm sorry, but I will be proud. I'm going to be proud that the former president of the United States sees the work that me and a lot of my friends do around this country, not just at these rallies. And I'm sorry, but this was a moment that I'm very, very proud of. And people don't have to be proud of it for me. And